Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. First and foremost, today I had a very strong channel music message, and that is the song No Letting Go by Wayne Wonder. Got somebody, she is a beauty, very special, really and truly. Takes good care of me like it's her duty. Wanna ride by my side night and day. No letting go, no holding back, because you are my baby. When I'm with you, it's all of that, yeah. All right. I was going to stop, but I just couldn't. I was feeling the spirit of my college party years, and I just couldn't let it go. Definitely telling my age, as that was like freshly released when I was in college. Comment down below where you were in life when that song was most popular. Maybe show your age a little bit. But anyway, so that was a channel message. Definitely was a party favorite, especially on college campuses. And even in clubs, but I was particularly fresh in school at that time. So it brings back a lot of fond memories of just living life carefree, like kind of an adult, but not really, but kind of, but still not really. And just the problems that you had then were nothing really in the grand scheme of things, but those were the wonder years, indeed. And to that point, the world card is where I stopped shuffling today, and the world card is very much in the synergy of that vibration, coincidentally. Well, of course, not coincidentally, but for all intents and purposes, coincidentally, that the world card is all about ending cycles and beginning new ones. It's about bringing some big long-term project or endeavor or time period experience, something that was a long labor of such, to a close and stepping into a new chapter, a new cycle, a new existence of sorts, a new way of living, a new way of being. When the world card comes up, it's definitely, in the highest vibration, definitely a cause for celebration that, you've overcome some very long, strenuous, perhaps, time of life or experience in life, and that you've completed it in such a way that now you get to now step into something completely new. And it also signifies, it kind of indicates this idea of a continual or continuous cycle of success beyond the completion that you're stepping away from now, because of the work that you put in the past cycle. So all the work and labor and dedication and devotion that you invested in the previous cycle, whether it was a piece of cake, a cakewalk, or definitely, a long night's journey, you can now celebrate yourself in the sense that life experience has now afforded you some sensational experience of success and completion, as long as you continue on with the lessons and guidance that you gained in that experience and from that time period. If you can take that information and that intel with you in the most productive sense, you can more or less look forward to life in a very hopeful and sensational way, looking forward, that you've done enough and you've learned enough, you've grown enough to more or less be able to look forward to life being expansive and impacted by those seeds sown already, and how they're growing for you moving forward. I hope that's enough on the world card. It's just, I've been really diving more into the definitions of the cards. Like, I read more intuitively, and of course in the exchange of what I've learned just in the practice. But I've been taking a deeper dive into the actual definitions of the cards, and I've actually been pleasantly surprised at the depth of the definitions, you know, and it's bringing even more dimension to what I'm experiencing in real time in my life, and then what I'm also expressing in these messages. So not to go on and on and on off of one card, but you know, where I stop shuffling is definitely no coincidence, and it usually more or less sets a tone for the reading, and also is a bigger, more expansive message for, you know, what's just important right now for us to consider. So in all things, be in celebration that even if you are still wrapping up something or some cycle or some experience, and you don't necessarily feel from your sensational perspective of such that you are done or complete, you may still feel like you're in the midst of something or at the close of something. The encouragement is to still take the time to celebrate your progress, because when the world comes up, it means that even if you don't feel done, you're there. There may be a thing or two that you might have to check off the list, or just one more one more piece of knowledge or intel that you're waiting on until you can completely close the chapter. But it's most important for you to really celebrate and acknowledge your advancement and progress at this point, so that can give you an even more of a push forward to where she's stepping out of this old cycle and moving into a new one. And it can also indicate travel of some sort. So maybe you're getting ready to take a trip. With Mercury retrograde looming ahead, I would just say, if you are about to move around about the planet, just double check your travel plans. Make sure you're triple prepared, double, triple prepared for your road ahead, and be flexible, because sometimes with Mercury in retrograde, even in the pre-shadow and post-shadow periods, there can be an unexpected delay or a detour of such. So just be open, take life's journey with a grain of salt, and be joyful about, the expedition wherever it leads you, but definitely be prepared. Triple check your plans, your itinerary, your suitcase, your checklist, everything. Like, do your due diligence, but in all things, just enjoy the journey and wherever it's leading you. Okay. All right, so let's see. Spirit, thank you for the message today. We appreciate a seat at the table to communicate and to co-create. Give us a couple cards on what is most, that's too many. Give us a few cards, but not a whole deck, about what's to be expected or experienced on today, or look ahead even. Okay, that kind of fell out a little funny, but I'm gonna take it because it's the only thing that fell out. Give me 1 second, I just need a sip of water. We got the 10 of Pentacles, which is about dynasty, material wish fulfillment, longevity, generational wealth, perhaps an inheritance of sorts. But then we got the 2 of Swords here at the bottom of the deck. That's interesting. What's the 2 of Swords saying? You know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna take the bottom card for the clarifier today. And I might move these around if I need to. So there's some, 10 of Pentacles can also be about family. And then we got the Queen of Pentacles down, peeking out here. So, but when we're looking at the 2 of Swords, that's either being at a crossroads about a decision, feeling either, feeling uncertain or unsure about a way forward based on that position. Oh, it could also, because sometimes, in the highest vibration, sometimes I see that Two of Swords as like an assassin. Like sometimes I do. I'll have to get more color around it to see. But given this Queen of Pentacles here stepping out of the Ten of Pentacles and in this position, it kind of gives me that vibe a little bit that she's like the warrior for the family. She's she's a curse breaker. That's what I hear. That's what the swords are for, like swords of truth. This is a stretch for those that read the cards by definition only, but from what I'm feeling, that's the vibe that I'm feeling right now. Of course, in the most practical definition of it, maybe there's some crossroads here about moving forward, or there's something that's just unknown perhaps. Because remember, with the World card, it's about completions, bringing something to a close, moving into a new cycle. Perhaps there's a new cycle of wealth on the horizon that is just unknown or unbeknownst to her just yet in this position with the Two of Swords. And I also said that if it doesn't feel complete as it is now, maybe there's just still something yet to be revealed, or just something minor here or there that still needs to be uncovered, or some level achieved in a sense to bring the whole cycle to a close. And maybe that's the case for this connection of the Queen of Pentacles to her dynasty here, to her legacy in a sense. No coincidence that the two are in alignment in suits, and the Queen of Pentacles is definitely, she's a high value queen, wealthy, stable, secure, nurturing, just materially stable and sound in many ways, and a leader in that regard as well. So there's some with the connection here with the 10, and it being her being on the outside of that, and even this card being on the outskirts and even blocking it. Maybe there's still some block on the connection between the Queen of Pentacles and her ultimate legacy and dynasty that still is unfolding, or that gets to unfold. Let's see. That was a Queen of Swords, which definitely gives me an indication of some truth to that. Something in the way of her, or just something yet to be revealed or desired for her to truly be to inherit that Ten of Pentacles, which would make her the Queen of Pentacles. There's an inheritance or some legacy somewhere with her name on it that she has yet to be connected to here. Yeah, but it's coming in quickly with the Eight of, and the Pentacles can be money, it can be gifts, it can be energy, it can be time. Look, yeah, okay, we on to something here. Got it. Very good, very good. Let's do it like this. It's not going to be as crispy clean today as it usually is, I suppose. All right, so we got the Magician and the High Priestess, and then we got the Ace of Wands. Perfect. I just want it to be clear that this is a clarifier. I don't want it to be confused. I mean, if you're even caring about that. All right, so that's clarifying that one here on the bottom of the deck. Which, interestingly enough, another aspect of the World card is that it's about, in the World card, that feminine energy is holding two scepters, like the one in the Magician's hand. And what that signifies is that what was manifested from the Magician's perspective and position is now being completed or brought into fruition, or has been brought into fruition in the World card. And now it's like wrapping up and moving on, and now it's like passing the baton, which makes a lot of sense when we're talking about family, legacy, dynasty, chain breakers, inheritances, those of the sort. There's been some manifestation here, maybe even very, I would say secretly, but just divinely so, with the High Priestess card here. But it's been done in spirit and in truth and integrity with the highest vibration of spirit. Like, it's been ordained and aligned. in ways that have been both more or less pretty magical and actually a little bit mystical, more than mysterious, a bit mystical as to how this alignment and this completion has come to be, or is coming to be. Maybe it's not even here yet still. But then we got the Fool card on the bottom, which definitely signifies a new journey that's being taken in faith and with the fortitude of trust in self, trust in the divine, trust in, just being able to, just having the faith in the universe to carry one through some journey that is fresh and new, that may be unfamiliar territory even, or you may not even necessarily have all the resources or information that you need, but you're willing to go on account of the fact that you've been called or commissioned in a sense to do so. So here's that, and like with the High Priestess and the Magician, like that's some serious energy. And the Ace of Swords, this is divine alignment, and this is also alchemy, in a sense, in a material sense more than anything, but in alignment with the spirit, with spiritual, essence is magnified by the way that this individual is not relentless, but is surrendered to their spiritual self, not just surely the fact that, someone has been able to work with all the elements that they and resources that they have in a natural sense, but they've also been sure to call on divine ordinance and support as well. And that co-collaboration of mysticism and mastery with the Magician card is what is bringing to life, like this is divine clarity and truth, whatever it is that maybe has been or was missing in a sense, or is unseen from this space of material manifestation. Back to that Queen of Pentacles, who's this is the energy between her. This Two of Swords here, maybe there's still some decision left to be made, and this is the clarity that's coming to life, some information, one last little note, or something is coming to light as to how she gets to make a final decision toward her destiny in a big way, in a very big way, and she'll be able to move forward, because the Fool card, it's like a no worries type of card, really, sometimes even literally foolishly so, but in the highest vibration that these cards are given right now, it's about moving forward almost, in the joy of a child, where you're excited for the journey ahead. You're not really too pressed about who's going to be there, who's not, what's coming, what's not, you're just excited to be going, and you are trusting that it's going to be a fun time, more or less, on the journey and when you arrive as well. Let's see, what was that? Oh, Fool out again. Yep, and that's another truth card. Definitely truth to power, to the power of the situation, and maybe it is going to be a little crispy clean. Thank you, Spirit, because I am definitely obsessive about my symmetry. What you want, Jay?
Huh?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
I'm still recording. So here we go with the Ace of Wands and the Fool card. Yes, this is a big opportunity to expand, create, to this is like the Magician, like this is major. And then the Empress at the bottom. I'm sorry, I'm just like being brought smack back into reality for a second, that we're talking about the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands in a matter of 6 or so cards, barely 7. Is it 7 cards on the board? And the Empress, who's, obviously in charge in this aspect anyway, and willing to still walk in faith and even in her elevated position of power. That's a definite, and that's probably the that synergy with the world card, with there being some completion, some elevation of sorts, and even a graduation. Hence the song I was singing as an ode to my college years, that there's some graduation from a level of experience and education, even perhaps even if it's just life education and experience, not doesn't necessarily have to be formal education, but just an experience of life that has now elevated you with the Ace of Swords. That's divine clarity. Now we got this is like the most magical wand of all with the Ace of Wands here. This is like God energizing you for some magnificent task. Even if it's in whatever position you're in, this is like a fresh force of creativity, inspiration, power, authority, in a sense, that's added unto you on account of all that you've sown and all that you've sought to be and do and have for yourself. It's like the divine meeting you where you are for your efforts and magnifying that effort times infinity, right? Quite honestly, I mean, look, we got the high priestess here and the magician. That definitely signifies an infinite possibility of power and creativity, and the wand, Ace of Wands card here is definitely an opportunity to expand in some magnificent way. This is obviously what you're walking into on this fool's journey, where you're willing to take a leap of faith in some unknown existence forward. You're rewarded magnificently with this Ace of Wands here. The only thing that could be better than that is the Pentacle, which by God, we already got the 10 here, which was the first one out. It's like this fool, or you being the one that's a fool and being in faith, with given all that you've experienced and all that you've learned. I just want to say that sometimes, you can almost feel like you know it all, or you've done it all, you've seen it all. Like, you can lose the excitement for learning in life and the joy for adventure, in a sense. But this here is like a exchange and a reward for you always maintaining that sense of adventure, and hopefully for you to continue it. Like I said with the world card, if you're able to take that spirit with you, not feeling like, oh, well, I've arrived as the Empress or the High Priestess or the Magician or any powerful exaltation of position that you've acquired given your experience, or given what you've proven of yourself to be to yourself, and obviously to the divine in some regard. But if we can get big-headed, ultimately, is what I'm trying to say. And we could start to either just get complacent with where we are, or to start feeling like, there's no more to acquire, when ultimately every round of life goes higher and higher, and there's always going to be an infinite possibility to grow and expand, as long as, you have breath in your body. So taking that spirit of adventure and exuberance with you is the key to this continuous creativity. This access is what this is to divine creativity, meaning that no matter what journey you begin, even as an Empress, there may be new territory and new terrain to explore, or to take over, even, in the sense, to, what do you call it, to what do you do? Not take over, but like take, what I'm trying to say, more territory to just, not acquire. Maybe I shouldn't be saying it in that way, because it's not necessarily about a takeover. It's more about the experience and the expansion and exploration. So as there's more to learn and grow and things to see and people to connect with, you're encouraged to be in expectation for this divine creativity and inspiration and clarity and truth to follow you along that path, as long as you're willing to receive it. As long as you're willing to be teachable, as long as you're willing, you're able to be excitable about life. You don't get complacent. You don't start to feel like there's no more to see. This is a message that there's always going to be more to gain, a new cycle to begin, even beyond what you've completed, as long as you're willing to receive it that way. And it does get greater later, indeed, with these aces on the board. Even when you're starting something fresh, even when you've mastered one level of life in one way or another, there's still a newness and a freshness to be able to look forward to in life for as long as you live. I think that's cool, that you can always look forward to something new, And here's the devil card, of course. Yeah, with that ace of wow, and here's the 10 of Cups here on the bottom, and there we got the 5 of Pentacles. So this is about being poor in spirit. And then we have, which is a great disparity. What is this about? And then we got the 10 of Cups falling here under the 10 of Pentacles. Maybe coming out of the cold. Yeah, okay. And it's felt like a long time coming. That's what it is, So you've taken this journey, you're willing to start out fresh, and free and faith. This is what meets you there, is this divine creativity and power and productivity. And here we have the 5 of Pentacles, which is it could be actually poor in a material sense, or it could be being poor in spirit. And I feel like that's the crossover here. That's the crossroads. Wow, yep, that's the crossroads here, and it's taken a long time. It's felt like, there it is, the World card again, that this is the crossroads. Not only is this experience or this cycle that's being completed, that is the cycle that's being completed, of being blocked and bound and uncertain of the future, not really having the fortitude of what to do next per se, like certainly with clarity. Like a lot of us, I was saying how the 2 of Swords is almost like like she's a warrior, like an assassin. A lot of times you have to move in silence, move in the dark, move not knowing all the details, not having all the resources, not knowing, only being connected to the spirit. And sometimes everybody can't see your connection to spirit, so it looks a little bit strange on the outside. But the promise of prosperity has always persisted, even in the most poor times, when the times when you not only felt like you didn't have much in the material sense, but that your spirit was low, from the experiences that you had. Consider being a poor college student, as the phrase goes, where you're working toward an outcome. Well, for us in America, especially during my time, you were working toward this ideal of stability and security, that once you leave school, you'll be able to stabilize yourself with a good job and, a stable home and benefits and all these different things. You'll really be an adult once you leave school. And all through those college years, you were kind of just like taking shots in the dark, more or less, if you can relate to being in school, or I hate to be exclusive in that way, but just to relate it to the channel song today, everything always has a connection. And right now, this is what's coming up for me, that we were just walking in the dark. Even like I said, if it wasn't formal education, it was in the experience of life, where you were just doing as you were either told, projected to do. You were doing what you thought was good or right, or was going to give you a certain desired outcome, that was going to afford you the multiple streams of income, or affords you some stable Queen of Pentacles life, where you get a good job and climb up the corporate ladder and make good investments and all these ideals of the American dream even more exclusively, you know. And a lot of it was, as I said, on poor in the dark, in the cold, in a sense, even as you were in college, probably eating ramen noodles like I was, happily in my first year at least, and living in a small little Cracker Jack college dorm and loving it because you were on your own for the first time. It's like the connection to these two is actually synergizing right now, that even with having very little, there was still this experience of excitement, of just not knowing what to expect, but knowing that it's something good coming to you. There's something great on the other side of this experience. And indeed there is with the 10 of Cups here. That experience of hopefulness is what has carried us through a very extensive life experience, in many ways tumultuous for some of us, especially over the last decade or so, you know, maybe two, thinking back to how long I've been out of school alone, you know, where you got out of school and life wasn't exactly what you thought it was going to be. You know, I started working in a corporate setting. My first two, two of my biggest jobs were in big corporate companies, and that was the American dream. I was making amazing money, had amazing benefits, and, you know, was doing all the things that I had been conditioned to do through, you know, my adolescence, of what was expected of me, of what to do, to go to college, and then through college, what was being coached for me to do when I got out. And I did all those things, you know, I achieved that life experience, and it still wasn't fulfilling to me personally in the ways that I had expected it to be. There were still moments when I felt a little bit disconnected from, you know, the exuberance of life, felt even actually physically, materially so, where you're working day and night and your ends are still not exactly meeting the expectation that you had, you know, when you were working toward this outcome. I don't even know why I'm saying all this, to be honest, but even still, through all that, to bring it back, you know, there still was an excitement for life. And I guess what I'm saying is, or what the reading is saying, is that there's a payoff that's coming for that dedication and for that devotion that may be seen or unseen at this point. Perhaps you've been working more intently on something that you absolutely see the payoff for now, but some of us have been working even in more spiritual ways. Okay, I get that now. With the high priestess and the magician, we've been manifesting in ways that we didn't even really know had true value or not. See, the disparity here is when you were working in the most conventional sense, you went to school, you got the job, you paid the bills, you bought the house, bought the car, had the kids, made the investment, saved the money. You knew where your reward was expected to result. You knew what it was expected to result, because it was a very intentional thing. There are aspects of investments that were made in a very spiritual sense, which is very intangible, obviously, and that's what it is. The world card is saying that those are the rewards, and that's the reception that we're in alignment for now. These big money, this big energy, this big clarity and revelation. This is not just about a quality of income. This is actually quantity. This is a quality of life with the 10 of Cups, and it's a completed whole essence of such. It's like really amazing, actually. I don't think I'm doing it enough justice, to be honest, that the expectation should be grand of what the reception is about to be, that the completion that you've made, you know, over this last decade, perhaps even more, this investment and devotion to yourself, your spiritual nature, and to the things that you really wanted to create for yourself, both tangible and intangible, are now coming into fruition in a big way. and it's been a long time coming. It seems like it took you a long time to get here. It seems like it took a long time for the investments to mature or for you to see any result of it at all. For some of it, it's relationships. For some, it's actual businesses. For some, it is your material wealth and how you've been disciplined to save and to sacrifice and surrender your finances in a certain way. For many is very much so. I think what I'm really speaking most to is about the spiritual essence of it all, though, because that's the thing that we really don't know how to measure. So therefore, we don't really know what to expect. But I think I'm here to tell you today that given the 10 of Pentacles was pretty much the first card out with the Queen of Pentacles, that there's something major expected on the way. Big money, big rewards, maybe windfalls of abundance that perhaps come out of nowhere, opportunities that afford you to expand and express yourself in creative ways that you've always desired to really allow you to be free in your creative expression and for you to be so stable and even in your spiritual self that there's really no shaking the Ace of Swords. It's the sword of truth, and you'll be so empowered by the evidence of what you've manifested, given it's really coming to fruition now, that's what it is. Thank you, Spirit. That World card, that you'll be empowered to continue on in that authority, in that power, in that passion for creativity. Like you're about to see some profound evidence, like major receipts of just how powerful you are creatively, how worthy you are to receive dynamically, both in spirit and in truth, because the representation is here. This is the spirit of the matter, this is the truth of the matter, but both are the most magnified experiences of prosperity that you can have, so much so that you have it to share, you have it to pass down. You're breaking generational curses with the gifts and the blessings and blessings that are coming to you in a very material way. It's like you don't have to idealize it anymore. You won't be left out in the cold wondering if what you're doing even matters, if what you're doing counts, if what you've been saving for is even, something fortifying or even possible for that matter. If what you've been praying for has any potential of coming into fruition or reality. If what you've been investing your energy and time into is going to manifest into something tangible. This reading is saying that the evidence is going to shock you. It's going to take you by surprise, and it's going to be overwhelmingly good. And because you're going to have this evidence that, man, this past 10 years or 20 years, this was all for this, X, Y, and Z, whatever this and that is, it's going to pretty much set you up to be in a exalted position of power to manifest beyond that, because now you'll have the receipts. Before, we didn't have the receipts. We were just doing what we thought was good, even in the spiritual sense. We were just moving how we felt guided. We didn't have the evidence that, when we prayed, our prayers were absolutely answered. Maybe it came in trickles with the Knight of Pentacles here, where, you prayed yourself out of a jam and God answered, or you needed something and God provided, or, there was something that you were in adverse energy to, and at some point you were released or saved, or whatever the case may be. There was some resource that was made available to you. I have plenty of receipts for all of that, for sure. But I think there's something to be said about the presence of your power in that. I feel like even as I'm saying it, we've been, especially those of us that have been conditioned in a certain way, and we all have in some ways, but especially religiously, we've been conditioned to kind of off-put the evidence of power to some other source beyond ourselves. Not to say that the all-powerful source is not magnificent of it, in its own right. It certainly is, and we are co-creators with it, but I think we've missed ourselves as that significant middleman, the active agent, as I like to say, that made some of the that would be the magician. This is a perfect synergy right here, that this is co-creation at its best, where you're in your spiritual nature, but you're absolutely putting your hands to the plow as well. You're putting your mind to the challenge. You're strategizing for what gets to be done. You're staying in prayer. You're staying in meditation. You're dedicated to the visions that you have for yourself in the most magnificent way. And then there's this burst of evidence that, wow, this is what I've created. This is what I've called in. This is who I've become on account of my dedication, on account of the seeds that I've sown. You're looking at yourself in the mirror in a whole new way, because up until now it's been a slow burn. You haven't seen this starburst of energy. For many of us, you actually been feeling very left out in the cold, poor in spirit and poor in the pockets. You haven't seen, for some, like I said, some of us went to school, we did all the right things, we checked all the boxes, and still there was still some lack of fulfillment. Literally, with the 10 of Cups here, there was still some lack of fulfillment in life, and perhaps even in the material sense, not just the spiritual sense, and both certainly, that was, that left something to be desired. Like, is this really it? Is this all there is? Is this what I've worked for? Is this what I was conditioned to do, all for this end result? It didn't really seem like the means matched the end, in a great sense. Same in the spiritual way. A lot of investments have been made. A lot of faith has been devoted to your path in ways that didn't even make sense to you, let alone to those looking on the inside out. And now you're about to see exactly why you've been doing all that you've been doing. Thank you, Spirit, for bringing that to light, because I was feeling like I was struggling a little bit, but I thank you for making it plain. Let's just get a few more, and I'm not going to burn your ears off today. Yeah, see, and here we go. It's like you were holding on to, and this is 2, so I'm going to keep them. Thank you, Spirit, for really, now if I could get 1 and then a 2, that would be great. And here's the Strength card. So the King of Wands, he's a conqueror. That's what I was trying to say, that word, like when you conquer territory. But again, it's not so much about conquering territory outside of yourself as it is exploring. The conquering, if anything, is happening on the inside, which is very exemplary in this Strength card here, where we've had to conquer our lower natures. We've had to have self-control over these experiences of feeling left out in the cold, or feeling in lack, or feeling less than, even in some regard, feeling uncertain of our path, feeling faithless, feeling like we don't have the tools or the resources to sustain our lives or sustain the visions that we have for ourselves. There have been a lot of temptations to do other things to pretty much manage that void, or fill that void, bridge that gap. But when the Strength card showing up here is saying that there was great regard taken and pride in your position in life to be pure with your intentions, to do things in the highest vibration no matter what, to stay in faith, to stay in honor, to stay in divine alignment no matter what the material presence of yourself was, or the presence of your resources was or was not. To have it all or to have very little is still a challenge. It's a great feat in either regard, to still maintain some balance in your spirit and in your flesh, and not to be overcome by your fleshly temptations and carnal temptations to want to overexert your energy and your power, your creativity, to mismanage the truth or distort the truth or avert the truth altogether for some desirable or immediately gratifying outcome. That's what this is giving me here. And that's what I'm getting even here with this King of Wands, that you stay very intentional about your proactivity. The King of Wands has the wand, he has a wand, he's magical in a sense, and he can do good and he can do evil with that wand. And then there's been a projection of this vibration on either end of the scale and everything in between, as a matter of fact. Feminine and masculine, where we get in a proactive position of power to sometimes, that can sometimes lead us to do things in a low vibration, proactively, again, as I was saying, to make something happen, to force an outcome, to conquer some territory that maybe otherwise we just aren't supposed to have or be in. A lot of the aspects of life that I've spoken about, where we were out in the cold or just disconnected from a satisfaction in life, were just because we weren't supposed to be in that space, or we were supposed to be in the space for a time and maybe overstayed our welcome or overstayed the experience. And then, of course, in some ways, there was an external interference or projection that would obstruct our progression in a lot of ways too. Definitely give way to that. But even with the Strength card, it says that you withstood even that, the wiles of the devil, the ways of the world, the tests and trials of life that ultimately may had stood to be in some adverse energy towards you, but ultimately just helped you to build your character and strengthen you again to close a cycle triumphantly, so that when you cross over into a new one, you're not taking karmic low vibrational energy with you. You're not cycling back into undesirable experiences. You're breaking those chains of poverty and fear and guilt and shame and worthlessness and judgment and those lower vibrational energies that we all have been susceptible to and tried by in the fire, that we get to either continue or break away. The cycle is going to start over regardless, but it's what you're taking with you in that new world order that makes all the difference, right? And this here with the King of Wands is speaking that he's very conservative about his energy. That's what the Four of Pentacles is in this regard. And he was protective, not just of the energy that he exerted and how, and even of his own, what he embodied, but especially against the ways of obstruction and distraction that tried to come up against him and perhaps even sway him into some of those lower vibrational energies that he would have otherwise submitted to or surrendered to on account of the gratification of it all, or even the acceptance, the societal acceptance or cultural or communal acceptance of it all, to not be the one to stand out, amongst the crowd. Sometimes it takes more courage to do that than to just fall in line. It absolutely does, especially in this world, where you have all the tools and the resources. Like I was saying about the High Priestess, she looks a little funny on the outside looking in, like, why is she wearing all that blue? Why she got that pearl on her head? You know what I mean? Why is she always carrying around the Bible or the Torah? Really, it's the Torah, but why is she always talking about God? Why is she always quoting scriptures? The magician. Why is he always thinking he's going to be a star? Why is he always thinking, he's going to be rich and wealthy? Why he always got some grand ideas, some big ideas about life? Why he always thinking that there's more to life than what there is? Walking in that energy is hard in this world when everything around you shows you that you're not enough, you don't have enough, and you're not worthy of much. But to stand your ground, which is what this card means, is at the Seven of Wands, in courage, in strength, against all odds, against all resistance, even within your own self and your own carnal being, and to submit to your highest spirit with this infinity sign here, and to be pure in your intentions, conserve and reserve your energy, even when you're the most powerful king in the deck and you could just pretty much take everybody out, literally with one swing of your wand. There's still a reservation here where you're like, you still allow people, you still live and let live in a way that is protective for you, but doesn't have to be offensive to others. That's an amazing energy here to maintain, and everything that I just said, amidst all that we encounter day to day. The reward and return for that alone, of all that I just spoke about, is going to be magnificent. It already is. Just in the matter, as I said with the World card, if you can just even consider all that you've overcome to do that much in your life against all the odds and all the opposition. That's a triumph in itself. If you never get a dime, if you never get a man or a woman or a husband or a child, if you never get a home to call your own, if you never get a fancy car, if you never see your name in lights, if you never have 1 million subscribers, the fact that you have stood the test of time and triumphed, not just stood the test, but triumphed, passed with flying colors, back to that college experience again, passed with flying colors. Some people that I went to school didn't even graduate. Some just on account of life experiences. Some didn't have the finances. Some changed schools or decided to go a different route in life. Some had children and couldn't finish what they started. You know, that my point of saying that is that even in a very primitive sense, there's great competition in life, and there's always an opportunity for you to quit or to go in a direction that is not productive, prosperous, or high vibrational. Not to say all those reasons why people didn't finish means anything, because everybody has their own path. And even that, in essence, is the point, that you stayed clear and focused as to what your life's journey was. You stayed the fool in the highest vibration, and you were inspired that from the creativity and the visions that were given to you, the truth that is you. You weren't worried about what your classmates were doing or what your coworkers have been doing, what your neighbors do, you know, what your family and friends are telling you to do, what your enemies think that you can't do. You know, all those influences and projections could take a great toll on a person and completely veer you off the path of righteousness, let alone to riches and prosperity, you know, in the most integral way, that is. So just celebrate that idealism of yourself alone, and I guarantee you that anything that you feel you may be lacking or that you still feel is left to desire will absolutely be added unto you to completely bring this chapter of your life to a close and to move forward into something even more amazing, and with a fresh perspective, as with the Fool card here, of just how powerful you are, like at least the access of power that you have in a divine sense to literally do anything and bring anything to life that your heart's desire. Even if you didn't see the evidence of that, or you saw it in very minimal ways before, the strength of your experiences to overcome and withstand, to even surmount, is the proof of your success and your continual success. Back to that world card, that it already is a reality for you. It has been so in a spiritual sense for a long time, even when you haven't been able to see it. And now you're, my God, and now you about, oh my God, now you're about to see it. And I'm done. And look who's always peeking in your window. Pow! Nobody now. Because it don't even matter. Like, you can keep looking, but this is going down no matter what. Like, this is what it is, you know? And it's like, this energy is only checking in to see if you still believe that you have everything that you need to have all that you want. If you are all that you need to have everything that you want. Let's start there. That you are your own wish fulfillment, which is the positive projection of this card. And the adverse projection, I point out, it's overindulgence and doing too much and trying to have too much to satisfy your sensational nature, back in those lower natures, that carnal curiosity of us that sometimes we can be imbalanced with. The devil is representative of obsession, possession, you know, being too fixated on sensationalizing your carnal satisfaction in a way that is not balanced with your spiritual self. That's all the devil aspect is, and it's more of a force within you than it is outside of you. It actually, from the outside in, has to connect to something real and concrete, often forged in illusions first and foremost, but something that you've made real or made some agreement with that is real and concrete in order for it to even make an impact truly or to attach to you. So if you can release yourself from any addictions, any distractions, any untruth about who you are and what you are capable of, what you deserve, look, and I think that's why it's so important to really take inventory over your accomplishments thus far, because that'll give you real-time evidence of just how amazing you already are. Sometimes we spend so much time looking to acquire more to measure up, to measure ourselves by. Like, well, I don't quite have that house yet. I don't quite have that car that would really stamp my, to give me that stamp of success, or that I finally made it, and everything that I worked for is finally here. But those are the things that keep us on that hamster wheel, to always looking to gratify those satisfactions that can be simply gratified just in a matter of reflection, to see how far you've come thus far, not how much you have, although you can be clear to take inventory of that too, because I guarantee you, when you think about it with a clear mind, you have way more now than you did then in some regard. Even if you have less materially, you have more spiritually, and vice versa. Even if you don't have a relationship, maybe you have more peace of mind and more freedom, or vice versa. I don't know if that makes sense. But there's always more to reverence of yourself than there is less to objectify. That's the trick of the enemy itself, to make you feel like this isn't enough, that 9 cups is not enough to be satisfied. I need 10, I need one more. And the fact of the matter is, by God, by spirit, you're entitled to the 10. This is the completion here, 10, 10. And I think the world card is a 10 as well, if I'm not mistaken. But it's like completions across the board. You're worthy to have it all, because you are all, but you have to first connect to that reality, that just as you are right now in the space and place that you're in, you're whole and complete, literally wholly and complete, and able to manifest your wildest dreams, and that you already have access to that energy, that vibration, that creativity, and that clarity and truth from exactly the position that you're sitting in now. Ace of Pentacles, another ace on the board. Can you freaking believe it? This is the overflow of love, of spiritual fulfillment. Like these are the qualities of life here. The only thing we're missing is that Ace of Pentacles, and it better not be on the top of this deck when I turn it around, or I'm going to throw these cards. But you got the Ace of Wands here, which is the ultimate power and creativity, the ultimate truth and clarity, and intuition even. You got, or this might be more intuition, but you got the Ace of Cups here, which is the ultimate exuberance of love, and everything that is manifested comes from the spiritual space first and foremost. So to be overflowing with that essence from a divine nature, from a spiritual flow, from source itself, with this and peace with this dove here and above the cup, it's like everything that pours out of you flows into everything that you have and everything that you do. Exemplify here with this Four of Wands card. Also, side note, if you're waiting on the house of your dreams, this is actually a signifier of such. If you're waiting on a baby, this is a signifier of such. If you're waiting on passion beyond your wildest imaginations, that's a signifier of such. If you're waiting on some truth and clarity and a clear path ahead, this is a signifier of such, where you'll never be blind again. You'll never be sitting in a Two of Swords position. You'll always have truth and clarity available to you from the inside out. Just a matter of asking and literally opening your hands, your heart, your mind, your eyes to receive. Like, are you feeling what I'm saying right now? This was a slow burn with that Knight of Wands. It's like it took a slow time to get here, but now that it's here, like I feel overtaken by the power of these words, of this energy, this vibration here. It's like, I can't even imagine how it gets to feel in a natural sense if this is just how it feels, just energetically. So prepare yourself, like hold on to your seats for all this love that you about to get, all these opportunities you about to get, all this clarity that's about to come to you. Like I said, you want a house, you got it. You want a family, you got it. You want generational wealth, multiple streams of income, dynasties, legacy, you got it. You want spiritual clarity, you got it. You want to be able to literally say, Shazam, here I am, you got it. Like, you want to be able to conquer any territory you set your mind to, make money and save money, conserve money, and be protected all along your journey. You got it. It's yours. It's yours. It's yours. Oh my gosh, I feel this energy so major. It's yours. It literally is yours. You've already done the work. School you done graduated. You've moved up a grade. You got your diploma. You got your degree. Some of us have multiple degrees and multiple dimensions. And now it's time for you to really build the life of your dreams, to receive that experience of a life truly fulfilled in spirit and in truth. And let me just see what's on the top of this deck now. Spirit, don't play with me. Don't play with me. And you know what I sense this to be, as I often do in a high vibration? This is the continuous of that vibe. Continuous. Remember I said, Lord, it comes right back to it. This is the continuum of manifestation. Remember I said with the world card, it's like, because you've done it already, you already got the blueprint, and now you about to get, it's like you had the blueprint, you were building in the dark unbeknownst to you, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is what I created, and now you about to, it's like the unveiling of all that you've manifested, that you're about to be enamored by. I can truly say that by the energy on this table, that it's going to be more than what you bargained for, like an overflow, like total wish fulfillment in every regard of any energy on this reading, on this table. Even the lowest vibrations have spoken very highly, because they're a projection of the disparity between where you were and where you are now, or where you think you are now, and where you're about to be. And with this Two of Pentacles, this is not someone that's unstable and that's robbing Peter to pay Paul, and that's on this continuous vibration of poverty and scarcity. Perhaps that's the lowest vibration for anyone that doesn't allow themselves to believe and have the affinity for this energy and these unlimited possibilities. But this is someone ultimately that can't stop manifesting. You see the infinity sign above his head, where the strength card, she has the infinity sign above her head, and I thought it was one more at some point too. But that's what this represents here. To be on an endless cycle of wish fulfillment is what these two energies are giving me. To always be fulfilled, to always have more than enough. If there's any juggling going on, it's about how do I spend this money? Where do I invest my time? Because I have so many businesses to attend to. I have so many clients to connect with. I have such a large family. I have to really balance my energy between work and life balance. I have so many places to visit, and so many things I want, so many places I can go, that I just gotta pretty much close my eyes and pick one, because it's not a matter of if I can afford to do it. It's really just a matter of my choice in doing so. So this is the energy here. It's in the highest vibration of the Two of Pentacles can give. Just continuous manifestation, never ending, never stopping, which is what that World card was given from the jump. That because of all that you've invested, the way that you have sustained yourself spiritually when materially you didn't have it, but you were content with your spiritual acquisitions and accomplishments, and you considered yourself to be more than enough, and what you had accomplished more than enough, and your possibilities endless, is why you have afforded yourself this infinite smorgasbord of blessings at hand. And if you and it's on demand, might I add, as what I just heard, it's literally on demand with this magician card and the high priestess and the ace of swords. It's like whatever you want, you got it. So only thing you got to be careful of is being of what you ask for, being careful what you wish and what you ask for, because it most certainly will be granted unto you. You've earned it. You've proven yourself worthy to receive it and willing to receive it, and not only that, responsible to maintain it, and hopefully to even express, expand, and inspire others to have the same experience in their own right, if not outright sharing, because it looks like you'll have more than enough anyway, sharing with those that you're assigned to do so. It's all yours, literally. There's nothing left to be desired in your life, especially with you and with those that, with the things that you desire. You've earned it, and you're going to soon see the evidence of exactly how much the divine is pleased with your passion for life and your devotion to divinity. It is so, and so it is, straight like that. Until next time, peace.